Good evening, everyone. This is Daphne Valcin, leadership and business coach with Daphne Valcin Coaching, and I'm going to start off with an excerpt from a poem tonight. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won if he'd stick it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You might succeed with another blow. That's an excerpt from Edgar A. Guest's Don't Quit. And it's super relevant to what our topic is tonight, the power of perseverance. So I am Daphne Valcin. I'm a leadership and business coach with Daphne Valcin Coaching, and I pray that the message that I'm going to share with you blesses you in your business or whatever endeavors that you are currently trying to pursue. So for mission-driven leaders, a little bit about me. Mission-driven business leaders, I help business leaders to magnify their profits and results through sales, marketing, and profit-producing strategies so that they can grow their business for the life of their businesses. And when it comes to mission-driven leaders looking to grow in life personally or professionally, clients who work with me create pathways to prosperity and success in the areas of their life that they find to be priority. So why did I decide to do this Facebook Live tonight? I believe if we share more about our challenges and our successes in relationships, in career, in business, we could all grow from one another. Hey, Miss Williams, that's my second grade teacher, and she's awesome. Again, the reason why I'm doing this tonight is I believe if we all share more about our challenges and successes, that we could all grow from one another. And so that's what I want to do tonight. If you want to kind of share where it is that you're calling from, you're typing in from, you can totally do that as well, so that I can see kind of who's on the line or say hey. So one of the things that I posted about that might be one of the reasons why you are joining me tonight is that a few weeks ago I made $6,000 in my life coaching business, leadership and business coaching business, over a 4-day period while working less than 20 hours a week. So I made $6,000 over a 4-day period working less than 20 hours a week. But it took a lot to get there. And so I want to talk about the power of perseverance when it comes to that goal. And you'll see me glancing at my notes. Hey, Georgia. Hey, Orlando. Okay, so every quarter, profitable businesses should be analyzing their goals and their vision. Just as personally, you should be analyzing your goals. And I know that not everyone on the line right now is an entrepreneur. So I will say, if your goal is to develop personally, in my perspective, every quarter you should be analyzing where are you spiritually, where are you financially, where are you educationally, where are you in your career, and where are you when it comes to your relationships, whether it be your family relationships or your friendships. So we need to be analyzing that quarterly, putting in a calendar reminder to make that happen. But that was kind of where I began when it came to the goal that I had set for the launch of programs and services for this quarter. So I was thinking about what I wanted to launch, and I realized that in order for me to make those sales happen in a powerful way so that I could serve clients in a powerful way, that it would take a long-term strategy. So I had about 3 pages of action steps with a timeline of 7 weeks that I concluded if I was to implement these things would lead to success in a quarterly launch of programs and services. So I had about 3 pages of stuff. The challenges, as you might be able to tell from that, is that could be overwhelming. I actually called someone who I found online who told me she could do the 3 pages worth of stuff for me and more for about $5,000. So that was, she's awesome. She's fabulous, and I may use her in the future. But I had to make a decision. Can I do this myself and be disciplined enough to do this in a way that's going to produce a high-quality result in my business, all the things needed to launch successfully, or do I need to pay for it? So I made a decision that I was going to try to do it myself. And the list that I got of all the action steps that I should take to launch my programs and services, I accumulated through research, through working with extremely successful business leaders, my mentors, my coaches, and I wanted to give it a try. But you see, the challenge was I only work 20 hours a week or less. I have chosen to spend a great deal of time with my 1-year-old baby Jasmine, as you might see me refer to her affectionately as on my Facebook. I have a nanny that comes in on Mondays who allows me to work from usually 9 to 2, so for a few hours. My husband watches the baby so that I can work in the evening times, Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays 9 to 2, he's watching baby Jazz. So when it came to this launch, I really wanted to get work done even outside of those times though. So though I absolutely love what I do as a coach, it energizes me, it blesses me, I'm totally blessed to serve. There are times when my husband is at work when I may be tired because baby Jasmine and I are carrying on, we're playing, we're inside, we're outside, we're at the park, we're at events. I really want to be an engaged and involved mom because I have lived a portion of my life where I was so busy morning and night. I didn't feel like I had time, the time that I wanted to spend with those who I love. So I'm trying to pour into my baby. I'm tired though. By the time I get to work at night as a coach, I often need to re-energize somehow. I need to get excited. I need to find a way to start with my 100% or over my 100%. Anyone who is my client knows that for most of my sessions, I pray before my sessions for me, for my clients, so that I can be amazing. But I'm tired, so I'm tired during the day. So I'm saying that because I'm trying to be transparent for those of you all who have been trying to achieve a goal, but you're tired. You have work, you have other responsibilities, you have family responsibilities, you're in a relationship, you're trying your best, but you're tired, you're worn out, even when it gets to good things, right? So when it comes to baby Jasmine, for those who are moms, even those who are not moms, if you know anything about co-sleeping, I'm a co-sleeper, so I nap with Jazzy. And those can be the best times to nap. We're all snuggled up and I'm tired and it's great. But for the purposes of these 7 weeks that I had to do this launch, I knew that I needed to make a sacrifice. I needed to get up. I needed to get to work and doing the things that I knew that I was called to do because I had work to do. My body was aching during those times because I'm carrying Jasmine around. I felt exhausted. I knew that as soon as I got up, she might wake up, and then I wouldn't be able to work anymore. But I pushed myself because I had to get to work. So 10 minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time, 30 minutes at a time, week to week to week, I was pushing to make sure that I was doing the work to be able to contribute to my business. I remembered my end goal. So this was one of the things that motivated me. I remembered my end goal, serving more people, helping people to grow, walking in my purpose, being a blessing to my clients, being a blessing to baby Jasmine, having more time to spend with baby Jasmine by increasing revenue in my business. So I told myself, I would be tired. I'm laying next to baby Jasmine. I would tell myself, keep pushing. You got to get up. You got to get up. I would tell myself 5 more weeks until my launch goal deadline. 2 more weeks until my launch goal deadline. 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, just 20 minutes at a time, doing the work that I needed to do. And what happened was, all of those times that I snuck out of bed after putting Jasmine to nap, I did social media. I was doing writing. I was doing planning for my campaign. I was reaching out to prospects. I was making connections. And it wasn't always juicy, fun stuff that I was doing. It was stuff like setting up a form so that when people sign up for a program, that they would see that it was a quality service and a quality program. It was doing the things that would be able to make my clients feel really comfortable. All important to my end goal, right? But I had to keep in mind serving more people, helping people to grow, walking in my purpose, being a blessing to my clients, being a blessing to Jasmine, increasing my revenue so that I can spend more time with Jasmine. And I want you to think for yourself, if there's something that you're moving really slow on, that you need to be taking action steps for, and things just don't seem to be coming together in the way that you want, what is it that you need to be reminding yourself of? Why are you doing this thing? Is it spending time with family? Is it walking in your purpose? Is it being able to be a blessing to those who you love? And yes, Daphne, my friend Daphne, who's on here, said that she can relate to being tired. I visualize my end goals coming to fruition. I imagine the clients that I would serve through my programs and the energy that I would have in those client sessions. Research shows when we visualize success, our minds actually feel like we already have what it takes to make it happen. Visualize your success. Imagine yourself doing the thing that you want to do at the end of that time. So, and at the end of the campaign that I was working on, these 7 weeks, 4 days in a row, every day, clients signed up. One day, 3 in one night signed up, maybe within 2 hours. And you can ask Bobby Valcin, my husband, who's on here right now. I was in a car. Most of this was work from home or work from a car or work from a family's house, a family member's house. We were driving in the car when people were signing up. I'm looking at sign-ups happening. People are registering. People are paying. So 3 clients in a row within 2 hours, all signing up, 4 days, thousands of dollars, but as a result of little work, little by little. I can only imagine what would have happened if I had 40 hours and even more energy, if I was able to get up and go to networking events or marketing events or conferences. Some of you all are at a prime time in your life where you have a lot of time that is free and you can decide what to do with it. And you need to make a decision to work little by little and persevere to whatever goal is you have in mind. If I can do it, I know you can do it. You have the ability to produce fruit in your business in whatever aspect of your life that you're working in, but you have to persevere. You got to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. Again, you got to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. I want you to persevere through hesitation. I want you to persevere through your frustration. I want you to persevere through people saying that you can't do it. I want you to persevere in spite of your past, and I want you to persevere for your future. I'm going to say all of that again. I want you to persevere through your hesitation. Some of you all are hesitating. Some of my clients, I push them to reach out to individuals who are where they want to be. And that, I think, is a wonderful strategy, by the way. But some of my clients hesitate. They say, I'm not sure. I'm not there yet. What if they do this? What if they judge me? What if I'm not good enough? What if they ask me something that I don't know? Persevere through hesitation. And I want you to persevere through frustration. Some of you all are frustrated with yourself. You're saying, I failed too many classes. I don't think that I'm going to be able to pass this thing now. It's too late for my PhD. I'm frustrated with myself. It's too late for me to start my business. I started the business. This is a lot of people's story. I started it, but I haven't done anything with it. Persevere through frustration. Persevere through those saying that you can't. I think for every business idea, there's many, many people who say that you aren't able to do that thing that you want to do. And I want you to, of course, evaluate, be strategic in terms of your business plan. But if you're strategic and you've evaluated and you know that this is what you've been called to do, persevere through those saying that you can't. Persevere in spite of your past. Some of you all have some stories, some things that you had to push through, some things that maybe were very hurtful, some things that you don't even feel like anybody would understand if they knew what you've been through. They can't understand how hard it was, how challenging it was. Persevere in spite of your past. Persevere for your future. Your future is being made as we speak. We know, that God has destined a future for us. But your future hasn't happened yet. So why are you giving up so early? Persevere for your future. Persevere for your children. I tell some of the teens that I speak to sometimes that I imagine me being a good mom and me doing things for my baby before marriage, before all of that stuff. I was just like, I just want to be a good mom. I want to persevere for my children. So persevere for your future. When I think of perseverance, I think of the story of Derek Redmond. If you heard this story, don't tell anybody what's going to happen next. But this is a story some of you all may have heard, and I often tell this story in speeches. So I'm going to tell the story for you all. It was the 1992 Olympic Games in Barcelona, and Derek Redmond was running the 400-meter race. So he posted the fastest time in the first round. He won the quarterfinal, and now it was time for the semifinal. So he's starting this race, and he's running, and he's winning. He's running, he's winning, he's running, he's winning. And 250 meters from the end of the race, pop, he pulls his hamstring. Later on, he describes this as it was like someone had a knife in the back of his knee and was digging that knife in there. That was the feeling that he felt. So, of course, he falls to the floor. Tears are coming out of his eyes. The paramedics are running towards him. His father's in the stands. Father's running down the stands saying, that's my son, pushing the security out of the way. Derek, on the floor with tears running out of his eyes, made a decision at that point to get up. Derek made a decision to get up. and he started limping towards the finish line. So he's limping towards the finish line, and of course, he's watching the other people already win the race. They have finished the race, and he even says at the beginning of his limping that he thought that he might actually catch up. He realizes he's not going to catch up. His father at this point makes it to him, and his father gives him a shoulder to lean on. That's a whole nother story, whole nother talk. Father gives him a shoulder to lean on, and they're basically limping together to the finish line. So the crowd of about 65,000 people stand to their feet and give him a standing ovation. And when I'm speaking about this, I usually ask the audience, why do you think he kept going? And they say things like, he wanted to finish what he started. He wanted to complete despite his challenges. He wanted to push past his pain. Derek Redmond had heart, he had passion, and he had focus. And I think that that's why the crowd stood up to their feet. The 65,000 people gave him a standing ovation, because there probably was somebody in the crowd or someone who was watching us on TV and said, what is he doing? He's ruining his body. They could have said, how unintelligent of him is it for him to keep walking this race, to keep limping this race? Why is he doing this? This is embarrassing. Why didn't he just stop? But 65,000 people, an audience of 65,000, got up and clapped for Derek Redmond. So I want you to think about this for yourself. What is it that you are doing where you need to finish what you started? What is it that you want to do where you really need to push past the challenges that you're experiencing? And they don't have to be huge challenges. Maybe it's boredom. Maybe it's what I was saying. Maybe it's being tired. Where is it that you need to push past all of that and do something for yourself? It could be getting to the gym, going to the gym twice a week. Where is it that you need heart, like Derek, passion, like Derek, focus, like Derek? We need to be implementing those things. And that's what I do, even in working with clients. Sometimes we got to stop. Sometimes I stop them to remind them of their why, of why why they need to keep pushing, why they need to keep on pushing, why they need to push themselves outside of me pushing them. Some of you are depending on someone else to push you, when social accountability is great, according to research. It's great to have a team. It's great to have an accountability partner, but you need to also be pushing yourself. So I recently learned about this concept called the compound effect that I also want to talk to you all about. So according to the idea of compound success, a vision plus a why plus consistency equals big change. Again, vision plus a why plus consistency equals big change. And the consistency can be in doing things that are unexciting, that are mundane, things that you got to do every single day to work towards that, whatever that goal is. So in college, that can be going to class, opening up your course, posting on your board. If you're a consultant, if you're doing multi-level marketing, it's all of the best practices that you've been told will bring clients into your business. It's prospecting. It's networking. If you're a blogger, you're having problems writing. It's doing the outline. The thing that you're not passionate about, that doesn't get you excited, but it's the consistency of those little things. Small, smart choices. So small, smart choices, strategic choices, plus consistency, plus time equals radical change. One of my mentors, Elda, is on the line. I see she's saying consistency is my challenge. Yes, consistency is so important. So small, strategic choices plus consistency plus time equals radical change. If you imagine two boats that are going down the same path, and one boat is just at a little tiny angle, if you look at those two boats way, way, way down their journey, that one boat is going to be way off course. Way off course. So I want to ask you the question, are you off course? Is there something that you're doing in life where you're off course? If so, just think about what you need to do to get back on track. There's no need to spend a lot of time dwelling on it, being frustrated about it, being sad about it, even comparing yourself to other people. And I'm even talking about relationships. You could be off course in a relationship and need to get on track. Maybe need to disconnect from somebody or move somebody into a different season. But you can be off course and still, that boat that's way off course can still get back on track. So think about business, think about your relationships, think about your education, think about your career. When I'm working with clients that are most successful, develop a plan to push past fear and push past obstacles in time management so that they can consistently move forward in their goals. Is fear pushing you off course? Is a lack of time management pushing you off course? And if so, think about what you need to do in order to get back on course. I want you to remember this. Every action, no matter how small, has a reaction. Every action, no matter how small, has a reaction. Every action, no matter how small, has a reaction. That means if you're a parent, if you're a business owner, if you're an administrator, if you're a secretary, if you're a project manager, every action, no matter how small, has a reaction. One bad decision done consistently will result in more bad decisions. If you are working in real estate, because I see some real estate people online, if you're working in real estate and there's something that you're not doing somewhere along the process to close a deal and you continue to have that bad habit, you're going to lose out on some deals. If you are a parent and there's some things that you're doing that you're saying to your children that you regret and you keep doing them over and over and over again, one bad decision done consistently results in more bad decisions. If in time management, if you know that you want to work from 6 to 7 p.m. tonight on your business, on your career, and you watch TV instead, you pick up the phone and you call somebody instead, you go on Facebook instead, that allows you to be more free to do that in the future. That one day that you decide to stray and do something that keeps you off track has you do that all the time. But alternatively, the same thing can happen for good things. One good decision done consistently will result in more good decisions. The moment you decide in your romantic relationship to ask for forgiveness and humble yourself makes it easier for you to do it again. The one time you decide to advocate for yourself to your employer allows you to do it again in the future easier. The one time you say in your business, I'm going to call back everybody I met from that networking event no more than 2 days later, and I'm going to schedule time to do that. If you can do that one time, it's easier for you to do that again. And so success happens when you repeat those positive actions. You repeat those positive decisions. You no longer fall into those negative decisions, those negative habits. There's a book that I suggest for everyone to read called Take the Stairs. And there's a whole bunch of examples of people who were very, very disciplined, who were able to be successful. And not all of us are naturals at that. When I first started my business, I wasn't very good at my time management, in my opinion. But now, less than 20 hours a week, all the things that I told you in the beginning of the call, doing it for Jasmine, doing it so that I can serve people, doing it so I can help people's businesses grow, doing it because I can imagine how amazing it's going to be when I work with the clients that I work with. All of those things have motivated me to the point where if I have an hour, 2 hours, I know how to work straight. If I have 5 hours, 6 hours, I know how to work straight. I know when I need a break, but that break is going to be a disciplined break. So understanding that every decision, every reaction, every action has a reaction, no matter how small. So an example of that is Derek Redmond limping. Something that I've only thought of today when I was thinking about the story of Derek Redmond, and I've been telling this story for years now, is how much pain was he going through with every limp that he took towards the finish line. 250 meters from the finish line doesn't seem like it's that serious if you're running and if you're running with major speed. But if you're limping and you feel like he felt, where he said it felt like a knife was digging in the back of his knee, every limp to the finish line was huge. But it might have seemed so small to him. It might have seemed excruciating sometimes. It may have seemed hopeless sometimes. I wonder if he even questioned if he would really make it to the end. But he still did it. And he kept going. He kept going. So it's all about momentum and consistency. So Neji saying she usually gets caught up in having to get things done and loses sight of what she needs to do for herself, trying to change. In a moment of transparency, when I first had these nannies come in order to watch Jasmine while I was doing my work, and let's say the nanny came in for 4 hours, I would spend about 2 hours doing housework. I knew I was supposed to be working on my business. But part of me was like, but it's also important to make sure I keep house. And it is important for me to make sure I keep my house up. But that wasn't the designated time. So one of the things that I had to do is say, when is the designated time for me to walk in my purpose as a wife and a mother? And when is the designated time for me to be walking in my purpose as a business owner? And when we are paying someone to come into the house to watch our child for us, that we love and adore, and we want to spend as much time with her as possible, then I need to maximize that time and be doing work. So I had the same challenge in the very beginning of, I think when Jasmine was born, and just feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't have any time to do anything. This is the perfect time for me to do housework. So I had to make a shift and tell myself, when it's work time, it's like I'm going to my job. One of my most favoriteest business mentors ever always says, give your entrepreneurial venture the same respect you gave your full-time job. Give your entrepreneurial venture the same respect you gave your full-time job. So that means if for you it's career, if for you it's something else you're working on, college, like giving it the respect that is necessary for you to be successful. But just wanted to share that because I knew it would bless you. So it's all about momentum and consistency. When you hit a milestone along the way, don't take a huge extensive break if it's a small milestone. If I would have got one client and I would have chilled out and not kept doing the work that I needed to do every day, the 3 pages of work, the hours and hours of work it took to launch a campaign with quality, I wouldn't have been able to be successful at it. So wait until you reach a huge milestone. So if you're a college student, maybe that's after the end of the semester. If you're a business person and maybe your goal is, so one of my clients, her goal is $6,000 in revenue. It's not when you get the $2,000 in revenue that you should stop doing the work. Maybe when you get $4,000, you could take a mini vacation. Then go ahead and get back to work to get to the $6,000 in revenue. Go ahead and get back to work. And so those are the things that you need to do, especially if you're in sales. Think about what that huge milestone is that you need to reach, and then continue moving forward. Honestly, and there's something I was going to say a little bit later, but $6,000 in 4 days in my industry is good, but it can be even greater. That can be made in 1 day, if you're really, really strategic. That didn't mean that I stopped and said, oh, this was great work. I kept doing the work. I kept doing the work. I kept doing the work. I'm still doing the work to make sure that I'm growing because of the same goals. Want to help people to grow. Want to help businesses to grow. Want to make sure that I'm operating in my purpose. I want to make sure that I'm taking care of the people that God has placed in my journey, in my path, which means that I need to work to make sure that what I present is quality. So doing all of that stuff, really, really important. Continuing to meet the big milestones along the way. If after you've met a huge goal, you feel like you're wondering what to do next, in my opinion, it's figuring out what about what it is that you did allowed you to be successful. That's when you have a system in place for your business. That's when you can replicate the system and you can hire people who are able to replicate that system. My virtual assistant that I have, one of the first things that I did was I said, when I was doing this campaign, I said, I want you to read this whole document. I need you to know all the things that I'm doing, all the things that I have in place in order to make sure that I have a successful campaign. I also need to make sure that I'm able to outsource to you those things that you can do in order to support me in this campaign. I had a system. I had support as part of that system, and that system is replicatable. One of the things that I told myself is, okay, if I can replicate this system, then that means that I can bring in $6,000 in revenue, maybe even $10,000, $15,000 in revenue, because I could put more time into it next time, and I can do that over and over and over again in a certain amount of time. So thinking through for you the system that is in place, or the system you can put in place in order to be successful in your business. But the most important part of that is you have to put in the work so that you can put in your 100%, so that you can know if what it is that you're doing is going to work. That's for anything. That's for relationships. You got to put in your 100% so that you can see if what it is that you have going on is going to work. If your marriage can work. If your boyfriend-girlfriend relationship can work. For your job, you got to put in with your 100% to see if this job is going to work for you. Don't give up so easily. When it comes to entrepreneurship, I told myself, this is 3 pages of action steps. If I do 1.5 pages, if I do 2 pages, how will I know if this would have worked? I have to keep pushing. I have to think about Jasmine. I have to think about my clients. I have to think about time. I got to think about time with my husband. I got to think about all these things and do my best. So do your 100%, persevere, create the system, and then repeat the system. The other thing is you got to revisit your goals. So if you feel like you've done this thing, you put a timeline on it, you've been working hard at something for about 2 months, 3 months, and you're seeing that it's not working, you got to revisit that goal. If you know about SMART goals, take a look at that. If you're not sure about it, take a look at what SMART goals are. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely, and there's different kinds of versions. But make sure that your goals are attainable so that you can say to yourself, all right, I did my best. It didn't work, so I need a shift. So if you leave this call with anything, I want to remind you of the power of perseverance. You have the ability to push past the things you feel are stopping you from reaching your goals. Again, you have the ability to push past the things that you feel are stopping you from reaching your goals. Negative relationships, time eaters, frustration, whatever it is, your past, your fears, time management, organization, all those things, you can push past them. I probably have a story, to be honest with you, about pushing past every single one of those. My clients hear them sometimes. But remember, each small action done consistently can result in big gains if those actions are strategic enough. Each small action done consistently can result in big gains if those actions are strategic enough. So I want you to do this. Move forward, then evaluate. Move forward, then evaluate yourself, your plan, your direction. Adjust if needed, but continue to move forward. Evaluate. Move forward. Evaluate. You should continuously be moving forward and evaluating in everything. Relationships, career, promotion, entrepreneurship, all those things. But continue to move forward if you feel that what you're doing is God's purpose for your life. So do continue to move forward if you feel like what you're doing is God's purpose for your life. So I'm going to close out by reading this poem, Don't Quit. I read an excerpt at the beginning. I want to read you the whole thing. It's by Edgar A. Guest. So, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, and every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won if he'd stuck it out. Don't give up though the pace seems slow. You might succeed with another blow. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and he learned too late when the night slipped down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst that you mustn't quit. So thank you all so much for your time tonight. Comment to let me know what you thought about the call. I really just wanted to talk about perseverance. I wanted to encourage you all tonight. I am Daphne Valcin. I'm a leadership and business coach. You can learn more about me and my services at daphnevalcin.com. That's daphnevalcin.com. I'm praying that anything that I said tonight was a blessing to you. Thanks, Wingry. Thank you all for all your love and your likes. But I appreciate all of you all. I love you, and I try to make sure that I tell you, if no one else tells you, that I believe in you. I believe in you. And Bobby Valcin, that's my husband. Yes, I'm married. Thank you. But I believe in you. 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 Good night. Good night.